Hello, Science Alliance. Hello, I am Lara. This is Theatre of Science. I stream free live lessons to home educators. I've been doing it since 2020 and we're still going, and now we're learning about the oceans because that's what you wanted me to teach you about. And we've got to the prehistoric sea creatures lesson. Turns out, prehistory is quite a long time, but I've just picked out some of the sea creatures that I reckon you're most likely to have heard of, because the ones that I've heard of. Basically because Jurassic Park. The first thing I want you to do, actually, hopefully you've got some stuff with you. I said that ideally for this lesson you would have a red cabbage, which is weird for me because usually it's stuff that you can just grab last minute. I think this is the first time ever you've had to be prepared. Or if you haven't got a red cabbage, you could use some blackberries or some blueberries or some turmeric or turmeric, I don't know. But actually the very, very first thing I want you to do, can you get a piece of A4 paper? Oh, surprise. On my days, if you're watching live, I just left you waiting around for like 8 minutes. You gathered all the stuff on the screen. Now you need a bit of A4 paper. What? You don't have to get one if you don't want to, but I'm going to fold the edges together. This is just to look at. We're not doing any kind of cool epic craft. But if you fold a piece of A4 paper in half, and then in half again, and then in half again, just kind of like, I'm just going to use this to point at through the rest of the lesson because I feel like everyone kind of knows how big an A4 piece of paper is. So it's quite a good way to think about time, because the time scales that we're talking about today, they're just impossible. It's impossible for humans to imagine the amount of time we're talking about. I really think that it genuinely is like biologically impossible. So if you've done that to your bit of paper, you've got a bit of paper that is split into sort of 8 rectangles, right? We're going to say that each one of those creases on your paper is 50 million years. You don't have to labour them all. You can just imagine it, really. One end of our paper is going to be... Wait, now my screen is flipped. Yes, so I think that's right. We'll say that this very edge of your paper is 0 million years ago. So that's now, that edge of the paper. And then it'll go 50, 100, 150 million years ago, 200 million years ago, 250 million years ago, 300, 350... So the other side of the paper is 400 million years ago. 400 million years! Right. While you're just sort of finishing that, again, if you don't like wasting paper, you don't even really need to write on the paper if you don't want. I'm just going to point at it a bit throughout the lesson for understanding. Let's talk about what prehistory actually means. Most of the sources that I read said that prehistory is just to do with humans. Some sources are saying it's way, way, way back in time. We're going to think of it as being way, way back in time. Prehistory basically means before stuff got written down. So if you think of this as being today, and this far side of the screen as being 3 million years ago, then about 3 million years ago, humans start using tools. Not the humans that are us, but the broad group humans start using tools. And then about 2.5 million years ago, you've got the Stone Age. And then people start writing stuff down about 5,000 years ago. So if you're talking about humans, that would be prehistory. But we're talking about far before humans came along. We're talking about ichthyosaurs, ammonites, trilobites, mosasaurs, plesiosaurs, megalodons. So we need a lot more time than that. So if you remember that we started writing things down 5,000 years ago, and that humans sort of pop up very roughly kind of 3 million years ago as a group, like that, it's just a tiny amount of time compared to the amount of time that we have to talk about today. I've gone back 400 million years. In fact, actually, for one of these creatures, we had to stick in an extra bit and go back 550 million years, which is really impossible to think about. Anyway, I thought I'll talk about some of these creatures. Oh yeah, so the actual humans that we are, our human species, only appeared 300,000 years ago, which is like, you can't even measure it on this bit of paper. It's just next to the 0. Let's talk about these different animals, okay, while we make our little brew. And if you haven't got a straw, you could make a straw as well, please. That would be good. But first of all, let's make our brew. So at the end of the lesson, we're going to talk about why the animals that I'm talking about are extinct. and we're going to do an activity to do with acids. So the first thing to do, please, can you put your chopped up red cabbage, if you're using it, in a pan, and then just cover it with, like, just boiled water would be good. You might want an adult to do that for you. Like, certainly check with an adult if you're allowed to do this. And certainly don't like lift it up over your computer screen. But get some boiling water in a pan with your chopped cabbage. You want to make quite a lot because you're going to want to play with this for the rest of the day, I think. But you also want to make sure that it goes quite blue. So that's fine. So give it a good stir, and then that's basically it. We're just going to let that, what's the word? Not ferment, infuse. We're going to let that infuse. There we go. I have a horrible feeling that I just grabbed a random teaspoon off my desk and it had bicarbonate of soda in it, and this entire thing will now not work. But we'll see, won't we? We'll see, kids. It'll be fun to see. If you're not using red cabbage and you're using these other things, you don't need to use just boiled water. In fact, don't. That's a terrible idea to put just boiled water into glass. But put some warm water in with your blackberries. You don't need too much. I don't know, half a cup or whatever. And if you're using blueberries, basically whatever you're using, put some warm water in with it. So if you're using turmeric, here we go. I tell you what, this lesson that I've planned this week is making me so pleased that I trained to teach physics and not chemistry. I don't think I could have handled the mess and all the bits and pieces that you have to think about when you teach chemistry. Here we go. It is good though, isn't it? It is. I mean, the sounds are good, the smells are good, the colours, yeah, it's all good. I can see why chemistry has a sort of more fun reputation than poor old physics. Anyway, right, that's actually all we need to do now, really. We just need to let those brew, whichever one you're using. I was using frozen berries, so they might take a little bit of time to get going. Yeah, right, just do that while I chat to you about prehistoric sea creatures. It's about time, isn't it? Now, the first one I want to talk about, is the most recent one in history, the megalodon. So the megalodon, it only actually went extinct about 2.5 million years ago, which for our timeline is not that long. Like that first, if this is us here, and that line is basically when humans began, and that next line is 50 million years ago, megalodon appeared about 25 million years ago, so in the middle of your first rectangle, and it went extinct. Well, you'd have to split that up into 25, and then the first segment is when it went extinct. So it's the closest one to us of all the creatures we're going to talk about. Some people think that it might still be alive, swimming down really far down in the Mariana Trench where we can't see it. I hate to break your dreams with science, but that is apparently just not possible because megalodon would have needed shallow, warm seas to possibly like have its babies, and certainly to get food. There wouldn't be food to support megalodon down in the Mariana Trench. So apparently, sorry to start with a sad thing, we haven't found that many bits of megalodon, so it's very hard to tell what size it is. It keeps getting compared to a great white shark. Like this. So a great white shark, like the average length of a female is about 5 meters. Some people think that megalodon was like 14 meters long, so 3 great white sharks. Some people think that it was even longer than that, like maybe up to 20 meters long. Conservative estimates are maybe that it was twice the size of a great white shark, but it's still twice the size of a great white shark, which is incredible. It was definitely a predator. Apparently great white sharks come up underneath their prey and sort of munch their squidgy bits. No, megalodon didn't need to do that. Megalodon just crunched the rib cages, like just well, you can imagine. I don't have to do it for you. What else was I going to say about megalodon? Oh yeah, it always gets shown to be, like in the films, it's always a massive great white shark. Quite a lot of scientists now are thinking that it probably, although it was in the same sort of group of animals as great white sharks, it probably didn't look like this. It's maybe a little bit more slender, maybe it looked a bit more like a basking shark even, but the same scientists that said, oh, it didn't look like this, were the same ones that said it was massive. So, swings and roundabouts. I think it's because humans have evolved to be terrified of great white sharks, that if you want a scary film about a shark, of course you just want it to be a great white shark, but like 4 times bigger. But anyway, so that's Megalodon. That's the most recent creature that we're talking about today. Stick that up there. How are you getting on with your brews? If you've poured your brews and you're just sort of watching it and waiting for it to infuse, if you haven't got a straw with you, can you make a straw? Some of you will have like paper or plastic straws around. If you haven't, I don't have to show you how to make a straw, do I? Just get a bit of paper. Maybe you could use this one and roll it up and put some sellotape on it, okay? Now is a good time for you to be doing that, and I'll explain why after. All right, I've got a new favourite sea creature. Okay, so some of you have been laughing at me because every week we learn about a creature and then it's my new favourite. But the mosasaur is next up in our timeline. The mosasaur was around until the end of the dinosaurs. It got killed off with the asteroid that killed off the dinosaurs 66 million years ago. Wait, did it? Yeah, it did. The biggest mosasaur, so mosasaur is a group of animals, but the biggest one is the one that we call the mosasaur. And they reckon that maybe it was warm-blooded. You can tell I've just written little notes on here. It had amazing eyesight because it had a really poor sense of smell. I don't know how they know that. So yeah, there were loads of different species, but the biggest species, they think possibly warm blood. I've totally fallen in love with the mosasaur because Jurassic Park is my all-time favourite film. The Jurassic Park franchise is the best. I won't hear anything against it. If you're judging films on did they succeed in doing what they set out to do, Jurassic Park is the best film ever made. So I've had this poster in my living room for a while, and I'd never really thought about it. I mean, I knew it was a mosasaur, but I hadn't actually looked at mosasaurs. It turns out, you won't believe this, kids, the films lied to us. So mosasaurs were very big, but they weren't anything like this big. They reckon that the absolute biggest that a mosasaur could possibly have been was about half this size. And also it's shown here with like all Godzilla-y skin, whereas actually they were related to snakes. So they used to think that mosasaurs swam in this wiggly way like snakes do, but now it turns out actually they think it had the tail of a shark. So you've got a creature which is like a snake, but it's holding its body really still and it's just propelling itself in a shark-like way with its sharky tail. It's just the right amount of scary for me. Very scary and very cool. So yeah, that's my new favourite thing, the mosasaur. Yeah, like I say, there were loads of different species. I think this is actually probably to scale. We don't know about the exact size of these things, but they could have been roughly the same size. Right, I'll do a little bit more talking and then we'll get going a bit more with this activity. So I wanted to talk about ammonites. There's actually, like, ammonites is a group of animals, but then you split the ammonites into different groups, and one of those groups is the true ammonites. So here, I'll show you. And there's a really cool way to tell the difference. So they're all different ages. The true ammonites are the earliest ones, and they've got these things called suture lines that are really complicated. And then the ones that were a little bit earlier, actually I've got it in a poster, I'll show you. Not a poster, but I'll, here we go. Probably easy for you to see it on the screen. Here we are, right. So you might be familiar with these periods. You've got the Triassic period, started about 250 million years ago, and then to the Jurassic period, and then the Cretaceous period. So the true ammonites, these are the ones that you might find if you're on a beach going fossil hunting, were around in the sort of Jurassic Cretaceous period. Can you see they've got these gorgeous, really complicated suture lines? And then in the sort of big group ammonites, but not the true ammonites, and the ceratites, which were around in the Jurassic period, you'd be very lucky to find those, because the older a fossil is, obviously, the more likely it is that it's been sort of destroyed. And then the goniatite ones had suture lines that were zigzags, which are even cooler, but they're even older than the Triassic, so the chances of finding those are very slim indeed. And yeah, now I will talk about the animals that ate the ammonites, because ichthyosaurs and plesiosaurs were around at the same time as the ammonites. Oh yeah, I wanted to show you this. This is a fossil that I found on a beach. I don't think by fossil hunting standards, like, professionals would be very impressed with it because it's just a fragment. But look at those cool suture lines. So this must have come from a massive ammonite that unfortunately got broken up before I found it. But I love it. I love it for those really cool, intricate patterns. Anyway, right, let's move on. Very quickly, because I've got my favourite t-shirt on, my Anning Park t-shirt, which has an ammonite on it. It's also got a belemite on it. These things were eaten by ichthyosaurs and plesiosaurs. So we'll very quickly chat about those, and then we'll move on with that potion. So plesiosaurs, you know the plesiosaur, the one with the really long neck. We think now that this is a picture from the 1800s. It wouldn't have been able to hold its neck up like this. Its neck wouldn't have been bendy like a snake. Its neck probably just pointed downwards, and it maybe used its neck to kind of sneak up on prey so that its massive lumbering body couldn't be seen before it could snatch a fish. No. Anyway, turns out there's two different types of plesiosaurs. There's the long-necked ones, and there's also the short-necked ones. I did not know this. So not all plesiosaurs had long necks at all. Here's a short-necked skeleton with a beautiful artist's recreation of what one of the short-necked plesiosaurs would look like. So yeah, they had these paddles, very good at swimming, necks were of different lengths. The ichthyosaur, I knew that the ichthyosaur, I keep seeing it with this massive eye. I didn't really know what the eye was for. It turns out ichthyosaurs could dive really deep down, so they had massive eyes, kind of like owls have massive eyes, so that they could see deep under the ocean, not under the ocean, you know what I mean, deep down in the ocean, where there's hardly any light. Big eyes, let more light in, I know. And they're kind of fish dolphins. They really were sort of, well, like they look like fish dolphins. As it turns out, not a bad way of describing them, even for science. They had the flippers, and they were also a bit like fish. I feel like we should move on. If you've made a straw or you're making a straw, that's like the big thing that you need to do to join in with this activity. So yeah, ichthyosaurs ate squids and belemites and ammonites, which are on my gorgeous t-shirt here. Right, shall we dish out some of our brew, and then we'll talk about the last animal. Okay, basically what you need to do is to have 2 glasses with the same liquid in. All right. Now, like I say, be careful. Check with an adult before you do it. Just get an adult to do it for you later. But if your potion is cool enough that you can dish it out, then dish it out now. Sorry, I've got very Yorkshire, haven't I? Dish it out, right? Just like dish it out. That was more Manchester. I shouldn't do accents. I won't. Okay, I'll bring you down here so that you can see. This is just better telly, isn't it? Here we go. So if you're doing red cabbage, I wouldn't use all your red cabbage, because you're going to want, like I say, you're going to want to play with the red cabbage juice later. Oh man, that is looking a strange colour. I'm really hoping that I haven't completely messed this activity up before I even started. So you don't want, sorry, this is very inconvenient, you don't want loads of bits in your glasses, which is super difficult if you're doing the blueberry or the blackberry one. But it would be better. My berries were frozen, so my water's cooled down. But do be really careful, won't you? But I'm just going to give this a squidge. So yeah, what you want to do is have whatever liquid you're using. If you're using blackberry juice, then can you pour the blackberry juice into the 2 glasses so you've got the same amount in each glass? I'm just picking out. You don't need to pick out all the tiny little bits, but I'm just picking out the big bit of berry. There we go. And the same with the bloobs. There we go. Oh, this is actually like really oddly lovely feeling. Squishing warm blueberries in warm water. All right, here we go. So yeah, you need 2 glasses of the same liquid. I'm going to sort of do the demonstration with the red cabbage. So I've got 2 glasses of red cabbage, but if you were doing blackberry juice, you'd want 2 glasses of blackberry juice. You see what I mean? Or if you're doing blueberry juice, you want 2 blueberries. And I've got my turmeric water here. Be careful. Ah! I was just literally going to say, be careful, this stuff really stains, as I swirled it and just threw it all over myself. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Even by my standards, that was poor. Okay, I think I'm just going to chuck my hat out of the way because I like that hat, and now it's covered in turmeric. Okay, is that everything? I think that's everything we need to do. And yeah, like I say, if you haven't got a straw, then in a minute you will need a straw. Trilobite! Oh my days. Well, I've decided that we'll do a whole Lego show about trilobites. You know how I stream a free live all ages lesson, and I stream a free live IGCSE lesson every week, and I stream a free live sort of Lego story show where I just wear a silly costume and we chat about a thing, and there is an activity and I tell a story with Lego at the end. So this week it's capybaras. If you're watching live, it's on at 10:30 today. You should come. But next week we have to do trilobites because trilobites are so cool. I'm just going to show you the picture. Sorry that the writing is backwards. So trilobites are so old. They're so old. You sometimes that's not going to make it. You sometimes see them mentioned alongside like ammonites and belemnites as these tiny little fossilized creatures, but they're so much older. You'd be so lucky to find a trilobite fossil. I didn't know that they were called trilobites because their bodies are sort of split into three parts in three different ways. So they've got like the head and the body and the bottom bit, but they're also split into three ways lengthways, aren't they? They've got this bit in the middle and then the two bits on either side. So that's why they're called trilobites. Like tricycle means three wheels. Trilobites have got these three bits. They were arthropods, like woodlice were, and they could actually curl themselves up like woodlice, and they've got these suture lines too. So arthropods have exoskeletons, so when they grow, they have to shed their skeletons so that they can grow. So trilobites have these suture lines, which they think is where the exoskeleton, as it was growing, would have sort of split and then come off. So good news, if you do see a fossilized trilobite, it might not be a dead trilobite. It might be its exoskeleton that it's shrugged off, which is why a lot of the fossils are all kind of broken up, also because they're so old, did I mention how old they are? And it might just be that a bit of that exoskeleton has been fossilised. So they had compound eyes, you know, like when you see sort of insect view and it's loads of little images of the same image like that. They had that. We'll talk about them next week. They're amazing. And a tiny little shout out to this guy who we're not really talking about today, but the weird squid, the Anomalocaris, which not enough people have heard of. They've just started piecing it together. Scientists kept finding these bits and thinking that it was loads of different animals. Turns out, no, there was probably this thing that we're calling Anomalocaris, which means like anomalous squid, which had its eyes on its little stalks and these incredible sort of jaw things and these like fins that look like wings. We used to think that it ate trilobites, and now we don't think it did, actually. We think that its jaws, even though they look incredible, weren't strong enough to crunch trilobites, and it probably ate squishy things near the surface. Anyway. Right, I've done so much talking. I want you to look at the screen while you're finishing off making your paper straws, while you're finishing off pouring your liquids. I've done what might be an incredibly confusing question sheet for you. So that was loads of information. What I really want to get across to you is how prehistory is sort of a really weird thing to say, and all these sea creatures lived in very different times. So I've got our little time frame up, and I want you to just try and tell me, work out, guess when these different creatures that we're talking about were alive. Okay. So a lot of people yesterday on Facebook were just going, I don't get it. I don't get it either. Yeah, totally confused. So this is the year zero. Okay, this is today. That's 50 million years ago, 100 million years ago, all the way back to 400 million years ago. But then I had to stick a little bit on so it curves around and goes right back to 550 million years ago. And there's little colourful lines down here showing that this is when a creature existed, okay? So you've got this line here between about 2.5 million years ago and about 23 million years ago, this tiny little line here. So I want you to put like the first 1 or 2 letters of these animals into the boxes to show when you think they were alive. So this little line right at the front here, if you think that that's when trilobites were alive, then write a T in that box, or, you know, imagine a T in that box. If you've got the printout from my website, you've got this in front of you, you could just write in the box. Otherwise, you could just sort of just think about it. If you think that's when ammonites were around, write an A, okay? And then as we go further back, we've got these 3 animals that all died. They all stop existing about 66 million years ago when the dinosaurs died out. But one of them was the plesiosaur, I've just told you that one. Another one is one that lived for pretty much exactly the same amount of time as the plesiosaur, and the other one lived for less time. So you'll have to guess some of these. And then the other one died out before the dinosaurs and was around, it popped up 250 million years ago. And another one, which was around for absolutely blooming ages, it died 250 million years ago, but it actually came into existence on planet Earth 525 million years ago. So have a little go at putting like an I or an A or an MO or an ME in those boxes. And also, can you see a big problem with this activity? Like, even as I was talking, I was telling you about different prehistoric sea creatures, but there was a problem with what I was saying. The ammonites was kind of a bit of a hint. Think about the difference between like the ammonites and the megalodon. Anyway, that's just a bit of brain exercise for you if you think this is too easy. What's the problem with this activity? You have got the length of time it takes me to run downstairs, refill my coffee, and get a straw. How you doing? If there's no comments on YouTube, but I always say that when I'm live on YouTube, there's a post up on my Facebook page saying, you can comment here if you're watching live. So if you're totally confused, feel free to go and rail at me on my Facebook page. If you've got a Facebook account. If you haven't got a Facebook account, that is the right answer. Facebook is a bit evil. And thank you for watching. Even though I don't say your name, I still know that you're watching because I can see the number and I really, really, really appreciate it. It's just you haven't got anyone to complain at. I don't get it. Why she made this so confusing? What does that red line mean? Should we go through the answers and then if you haven't understood, then hopefully you will understand. Okay. So the oldest thing. There was a thing called the Cambrian explosion. The Cambrian period is an amazing period of time when loads of incredible different animals suddenly kind of evolve. So trilobites appear 525 million years ago, which is an impossible amount of time to picture. And yes, they're old and they died out ages ago, but they existed, they survived so many mass extinctions. Well done, trilobites, you are awesome. We will talk about you next week. Ichthyosaurs existed 250 million years ago. They didn't quite get to the time when the dinosaurs died out. We don't really know why the ichthyosaurs died out. But yeah, they were around slightly earlier than the plesiosaurs. Ammonites and plesiosaurs existed at pretty much the same time. This is the true ammonites, though, not the goniatites and the other ones I was talking about. Just the true ammonites and the plesiosaurs were around at the same time, and they both died out when the dinosaurs died out. And the mosasaur was sort of the next most recent. It wasn't as around for as long, but it also died out with the dinosaurs. And the megalodon is the one that's the most recent. A mere 2.5 million years ago, you could have caught a megalodon in the sea. I mean, it probably would have caught you, but you know what I mean. Right, can you see the big problem with that? Can you see the big problem with that? I tell you what, while you're seeing the big problem with that, if you've got your straw, I hope this works for me. I'm very nervous about this. I'm not sure about this colour. I think I've accidentally contaminated my liquid. But if you're all set up and you're ready and your liquid is warm, not too hot, what I need you to do is put the straw into the liquid and blow into it. Now, please be careful because from experience, I'm telling you, it really hurts when liquid splashes at force into your eye. So put the straw in the liquid, but then can you cover the liquid up with your hand? If you like, you could close your eyes and just do some gentle blowing. Don't blow and blow and blow until you get really, really lightheaded. We're going to have plenty of time for this, okay? Just want you to, while I'm chatting, just be gently blowing into it in exactly the same way that adults have probably told you that you should never do because it's gross. Just like that. If you like, take a big deep breath. Feel your diaphragm just under your ribs inflating. Can tell I'm absolutely spraying it everywhere. Right, that's very boring telly for you. So while you're doing that, I'm going to tell you what the problem is with, even on the board, there's a problem here. Some of you will know this. So we're going to do a bit of biology, which might pop up if you do a marine science IGCSE. And then we're going to do a bit of chemistry at the end, which will also pop up if you want to do IGCSE. So we've said this a lot on Theatre of Science, but it's important I'm saying it again. Scientists have split living things into different categories, right? You might have heard of the animal kingdom, there's the plant kingdom, there's the fungus kingdom. But that's a bit vague, isn't it? Because there's all different kinds of animals and all different plants and all different fungus. So what we do is, well, let's concentrate on the animal kingdom. We split the kingdoms up into different groups. And you might not have heard of these words. So kingdoms get split into different phylum. So the animal kingdom is split into different groups called phylum. You say, okay, all the animals that have got a spinal cord, etc., we'll say that they're in the group Chordata. And there's loads of different phylum, but like all the animals that have an exoskeleton, etc., we'll say that they're arthropods. The word etc. is doing a lot of work here. There's all different kinds of reasons why animals would be in this group, but we'll keep it simple. That's still a bit vague though, isn't it? Like there's quite a big difference between you and a guinea pig and a plesiosaur, and you've all got a spinal cord. So we split the groups, the phylums, into different groups called classes. So in animals that have got a spinal cord are split into different classes, like your reptiles are animals with a spinal cord that have 4 limbs and are cold-blooded. They're not actually cold-blooded, are they? They just match the temperature of their surroundings, but you know what I mean. And then another group of chordata would be like the mammals that have got fur. That's what we are. And the arthropods get split into different classes as well. Like, for example, the trilobites are arthropods that have got a very heavy mineral exoskeleton. But that's still a bit vague, isn't it? So we split the classes into different groups called orders. So the reptiles, animals with spinal cords that have 4 limbs, we'd split those into different groups, like plesiosaurs are an order of animal, and ichthyosaurs are an order of animal as well. Can you see the problem? You see the problem straight away? That we're saying plesiosaurs as if it's kind of like one animal, but it's definitely not. It's a whole group of animals. And trilobites are a class. So biologists would put, I mean, a lot of biologists would say we shouldn't even be using this system, but it will come up if you do an exam. So here's an example that I thought you would be able to understand, because we all sort of know about lions. So lions are in the animal kingdom. They're in the Chordata phylum because lions have got a backbone. They're mammals. There's loads of different mammals. The lion is one of the mammals. You split mammals into different groups. One of those groups is carnivores, eats other animals, roughly. Carnivores are split into different families, including the cat family. So the lion is in the cat family. It's got a muscular body and it's got curved claws, not claws. All the animals in the cat family get split into different groups. Some of them can roar. And all of the animals that can roar get split into different groups. And one of those is the lion. The cat that has the muscly body and can roar and has a mane, that's the species, that's the lion. And you don't get different lions. That's the last one at the bottom of the list. So trilobites are a class of animal. There's actually 22,000 different species of trilobite that we know of. Plesiosaurs and ichthyosaurs, there's over 100 species each of those. Mosasaurs, there's about, they reckon, 70 different species of mosasaur. That's a family. Poor megalodon, we were talking about it, that's just one species. It's in the same sort of group of animals as great white sharks. It's a mackerel shark. But yeah, it's just one species. So when we say this is the ammonites was sort of a clue, because you could say that ammonites existed well past the Triassic. It just depends how you categorise the animals. So yeah, just a note that whole thing was a bit unfair really, but hopefully interesting. Right, we're going to get on to why these animals are extinct, which is why we are blowing into red cabbage juice. If you haven't got red cabbage juice, we'll do the other activity in a bit. The whole reason why we split time into like the Jurassic period and the Triassic period, how we decide when those periods start and end, are because of something called mass extinctions. So I thought Our World in Data had a beautiful sort of explanation of what a mass extinction was. It turns out, right, I really want to be blowing into my juice, but I can't blow and speak to you at the same time. It turns out it's totally normal for animals to go extinct. It says here that about 10% of species on Earth are lost every million years. 10%! 1 in 10 species on Earth is lost every million years. And that's totally normal. That was just what you would expect. That's life and evolution doing its thing. New species popping up, old species dying off. A mass extinction is something different. That's when loads more animals than you would expect to go extinct. And they go extinct a lot faster than they typically would. And there's been 5 mass extinctions that we know about throughout time. And to talk about why a lot of those mass extinctions made things extinct, in particular why they made sea creatures extinct, we get to talk about acids. So, while you're still blowing, if you like, oh yeah, good, this works. While you're blowing, I'm going to tell you some quite high level stuff about acids, actually. Here we go. There are substances called acids. You probably know that. This is the last thing we'll talk about before we finish today. You probably heard that like lemon juice is acidic, vinegar is acidic. What an acid actually is it's something that contains or like releases hydrogen particles, okay? Pew, 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 pew. Here they are. So when I say that vinegar is acidic, all I really mean is that vinegar has got hydrogen particles in it. Like what a chemical reaction is particles sort of popping off and moving around and joining up with different particles. So there's lots of hydrogen particles in vinegar, lemon juice, whatever, in acids. There's also things called bases that you might not have heard of. Bases are like the opposite of acids. They basically, they release hydrogen and oxygen particles bonded together. Pew, 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 pew. Can you see what happens, guys? If an acid and a base react together, do you see? Can you see? If you get a hydrogen particle and you react and it reacts chemically together with a hydrogen and an oxygen particle so that they bond together, what have you got? What have you got? You got 2 H's, 2 hydrogens, and 1 oxygen, 2 H's and an O, H2. You got water, yeah, H2O. You do get water if you react acids and bases. I wasn't going to tell you that, but it's too easy to see. Right, so we talk about acids and bases using this thing called the pH scale. So if something has a really low number on the pH scale, it's very acidic. So something with like a pH of 0 or 1 would be a really strong acid. A lot of hydrogen particles. Something with a pH of 5, yeah, that would be acidic. The pH 7 is in the middle, so that is stuff that's neutral. That wouldn't be an acid, that is neutral, like pure water is neutral. And then the further along the pH scale you go, you get to the opposite of acids. So these things aren't acidic, these are bases. So a pH 10 would be a base. And something with a pH of 13 would be a really, really, really strong base. So if you react like a really strong base and a really strong acid together, then you get neutral. If you react like a 6 and an 8 together, you get a 7. You see what I mean? Or if you react to like a 5 and a 9 together, you get a 7. So what we need to talk about, what I'm going to show you, because I write a magazine for my supporters. The whole reason that I can do these lessons is because people are paying me, even though they don't have to, they just choose to sign up. And the only thing that they get that not everybody else gets is Theatre of Science magazine. And I did a Theatre of Science magazine, which was about acids. And I got something called an indicator and I posted it out to all my supporters. So an indicator is something that changes colour depending on whether it's touching an acid or a base. So I gave my supporters in their envelopes, you too can be a supporter at the end of this lesson if your parents want to. I gave them this stuff called universal indicator paper, which when you put it in an acid or a base, it changes colour. Now, you can get indicators that change colour. They just maybe they just go blue if they're in an acid or whatever. They go blue if they're in a base, or they go red if they're in an acid. Indicator paper is really cool because it does quite subtle colour changes depending on how strong the acid is. So I'll show you the little kind of booklet that they gave me when I bought this. Here we go. So this is the little booklet and it says, okay, if you put your paper in a liquid and it goes really dark red, that would mean it was a really strong acid, pH 1. And if you put your little bit of paper in something and it goes really dark blue, that means that that substance is a really strong base, like pH 11. And if it goes green, then it's neutral, all right? So I've put some stuff on this plate That's vinegar. That's from my gross soap dish that I got off the side. Let's put a little bit of bicarbonate of soda on as well. I can just put some cabbage juice on, actually. Cabbage juice isn't acidic or a base, so I'll just put that on there so that there we go. Right, yeah, let's have a look then. So that's the vinegar. If I put that in there, it kind of looks like it's just got wet, doesn't it? But actually, this is universal indicator paper, so that's telling me that the vinegar is acidic. What do you reckon? Like sort of pH 3-ish? Put that there. This one is my soap. Oh, look at that! So you can tell straight away that soap is a base, isn't it? Soap is way past neutral. It's really blue. That's almost like pH 9. Put that there. This is the bicarbonate of soda. There we go. So bicarbonate of soda, wiggle. Hope there's no chemists watching. Yeah, that's a really, really strong base as well. And if I just dip this into my cabbage juice, which isn't an acid or a base, I would expect it to go, yeah, there you go. Oh, look at that. So that's sort of roughly neutral, isn't it? So that's an indicator. An indicator changes colour whether it's in an acid or a base. Have you been blowing any cabbage juice, chums? What have you noticed? Have you noticed anything cool? And if you're not using cabbage juice, then we're getting to the bit where I'll tell you what to do. I'm just going to do one more big blow, show off my awesome t-shirt. Can't stop blowing. Must show you results. What do you notice? I think I might have contaminated my juice. Can you see that there's a difference here? Are you seeing a colour difference? Yeah, you can very clearly see a colour difference. Look at that. Why on earth has our red cabbage juice changed colour? When it turns out red cabbage is an indicator. So red cabbage isn't sort of necessarily acidic or a base, but it changes colour when it gets close to an acid or a base. And the other liquids that you've done, they don't change colour when you blow into them for reasons which I'll explain, but I won't explain actually, they just don't change colour when you blow into them, but they are indicators. So if you've got some bicarbonate of soda with you, you can put it into your berry juice, whichever berry juice you're using, and you will see that it changes colour. Yeah, because blueberries are an indicator, so are blackberries. There we go, look at that. Very clear colour change. You can do beautiful pictures with this. Turmeric changes colour when you put bicarbonate of soda in it. So you can mix bicarbonate of soda with water, draw a picture with it, and then brush turmeric water over the top. And it does this lovely, in fact, I think I put it in the Acids magazine as a really cool activity. There you go, look. So if you put bicarbonate of soda into your turmeric, you'll find that it goes really, really dark. Red cabbage is particularly exciting because it changes colour in lots of different ways. It's more like my universal indicator paper. So if you put, that's why I said if you're doing red cabbage juice, you want to keep some left over. Because yeah, you really see the scale with this. So if I put some bicarbonate of soda into one of these, whoa, look at that gorgeous green colour. But if I put some of my vinegar in, which is an acid, you get pink! Oh, it's the best activity ever. Shall I put some soap in this one? See if that changes colour as well. There we go, I don't need that gross soapy water anymore because it's the last lesson. So cool! So what I'm fully expecting you to do, please, if you did get a red cabbage in for this lesson, is after this lesson, can you just bez around your house, pulling different things out of cupboards and having a go and seeing if you can tell if they're acidic or basic. You have to look up on the internet what's an acid and what's a base. If you've got my printout, then I put this in for you. I've just given you a warning saying, please don't test bleach. It's a really strong base, but it's also really bad for the environment. You don't want to be pouring bleach down your sink if you can possibly help it. And also it's really dangerous for you as well. And don't get any battery acid. But the stuff in the middle, go as far as soap. Super fun. Right. But why did our red cabbage juice change colour when we blew into it. What's that about? What could possibly be happening? Well, this perfectly explains why these sea creatures are extinct, because it turns out, well, should I even tell you? No, I won't tell you. I won't. This is the last thing we'll do. I'll show you my cool little PowerPoint special effects that I showed everyone when we did a whole load of lessons on coral reefs. Here we are. And this will tell you why. So, in the ocean, you've got these particles called carbonates, and you've got these little particles called calcium. You might have heard of calcium carbonate. That is a carbonate particle and calcium particle coming together to form the exoskeletons of gorgeous little sea creatures. And it also makes the skeletons of coral as well. So carbonate and calcium, super important if you want to live in the ocean and have a little skeleton or eat anything that has a little skeleton. So you've got calcium carbonate in these little skeletons. You've got water in the ocean. Along comes some carbon dioxide, right? 1 carbon and 2 oxygen particles. The carbon dioxide dissolves into the water. And what happens is you get this chemical reaction. So water reacts with the carbon dioxide to make this thing called carbonic acid, which is very unstable. And it gives off hydrogen particles. Gasp, children, do you remember? Hydrogen particles, that's just an acid, isn't it? So it makes the ocean sort of more acidic than it was before. More of that in a minute. I won't bother to tell you this. We did this in a coral lesson. So you've got these little hydrogen particles floating around in the ocean. What happens is they bond to the calcium carbonate skeletons of the little sea creatures. Oh no, the hydrogen bonds more strongly than the calcium. You don't need to remember this, by the way. This is just sort of, I don't know. It's just, for me, it's interesting detail. So that whole particle pops away, dissolves into the water, pew, pew, pew. And the calcium particle is now on its own, surrounded by water, and that dissolves into the water as well. So if you are hearing about how the oceans are becoming more acidic and it's dissolving like the skeletons of sea creatures and it's damaging coral, that's why. Very, very quickly. So, yeah, carbon dioxide dissolves into water to make the water more acidic, and that's what your colour change in your red cabbage was seeing. Just before I finish the lesson, be really careful when you talk about ocean acidification. So everyone kind of thinks that the ocean is turning into acid. The ocean isn't actually acid. What is happening is that carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, which happened like when the asteroid hit Earth, for example, in 66 million years ago, there was a lot of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, and it's happened in a few of the big extinction events. It's lowered the pH of the ocean, all right? This will definitely get you a mark in an exam one day. So the natural pH of seawater is sort of roughly about 8, and it's not actually becoming an acid, but it's lowering the pH of the water. It's taking it closer to 7, if you like, which is enough to start dissolving sea creatures. Okay, good, right. Woof! That was so much information. That is the end of the lesson. I cannot believe how much information you took in there. Phenomenally well done. I've showed you like every single interesting thing that I have in my house. I'm going to go over to my Facebook page now and see if anyone's left me any comments. Because like I say, when I'm live on YouTube, there's no comments. But at the top of my Facebook page right now, if you've got a Facebook account, there's a post saying, you can comment here if you're watching live, and I'll say hello to you. So while I'm getting to my Facebook page, I will explain to you how I do this lesson for free, because I briefly mentioned that I send a magazine to my supporters. Yeah, how it works is, in 2020, I started streaming free live lessons because lockdown, and then people just didn't want me to stop. And I obviously didn't want to stop because look at me, this is amazing, good fun, and I'm learning loads. So I just kept on going and said, if you are enjoying these lessons, then you could send me £5 a month. And people did. It's ridiculous. Like never, ever in a billion years without lockdown happening would I have thought, oh, I'll just like use my teacher training to stream lessons for free into the internet. And like the printouts are free. I do 3 different things a week, which are all free. They're all stored on my website for watching on catch up for free. And you are paying me, so it's a job. It's just worked out so beautifully. Everyone's really grateful to each other. I always joke that like once we work out who should be grateful, the whole thing will crumble to dust. But I am incredibly grateful. So the only thing the people who support me on this website called Coffee get, that all the other people don't get, is the Digital Science magazine, which I write. It doesn't come out very often because it takes me ages to write it, because I'm writing it alongside like the planning and the teaching. But if you sign up to support me on Coffee now, then I will send you this past issue, which is about mould. It's got a free home compostable plastic bag, so you can make a tray, put some food in it, identify the mould, hopefully. It's got a choose your own adventure, a beautiful comic about how penicillin was discovered. I'll send you some rainbow glasses as well. Everyone who signs up gets sent rainbow glasses, and one past issue of my magazine. And if you sign up with £6 a month, which most people do actually, then I'll send you an extra past magazine. This one is about time, so it comes with a sundial and another stunning comic that my husband illustrated for me. It's got a activity about how Einstein's theory of relativity worked, and some information about clocks and time zones. I am very proud of Theatre of Science magazine. So yeah, if you go to my, this is a terrible pen, I'm so rubbish at advertising, but if you go to my about section on Coffee, on YouTube, or anywhere that it says sign up, like all over about section on YouTube, or anywhere that it says sign up, like on my website or on Facebook, then that'll take you to Coffee, and you will be sent all those nice things in the post to say thank you so much. It's amazing that this job is working. Hopefully £5 a month isn't very much for you for what I'm doing, but it all adds up to be a very good wage for me. Right, I am on my Facebook page, so thank you so much. I've started saying like I'm far too much of a pro to mention it, but I really do appreciate. It's amazing to see people signing up like as I'm talking. It's really, really gorgeous feeling. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, subscribe. Please subscribe. It turns out when you tell people to subscribe on YouTube, then they do subscribe, and then you get more subscribers, and that like makes you look cool. So thanks for subscribing, and thanks for liking. Right, here's my comments. Yay, let's have a look. And then, oh my goodness, we've only got 29 minutes until the Capybara Lego show starts. So I always say this. I always go, guys, I can't be long. I can't be long. Bye, Tamara. And then I always spend ages chatting to you. Facebook's being weird again. It started being a little bit weird and maybe not showing me all the comments, but I'll have a go. Jacob says, whoa, fighting talk from Jacob. Jacob says the Dunkelostus is better than a megalodon. Is it? Right. Jacob, I've gone from saying, I've got to be really quick, right guys, got to be really quick, to looking up Dunkelostus. Whoa, what? Joint-necked fish. Whoa, it lived like in the Devonian period, along with trilobites. I had not heard of this guy. It lived in the deep water, one of the first apex predators of any ecosystem. Dude, just in the nick of time. Right, I better keep saying hello to people, but we need to look at that in more detail. Thank you, Jacob. Edmund has made a model of carbonic acid. Fabulous, thank you. Oh, it's Henry. You've got a plesiosaur vertebrate and a mosasaur tooth. No, you've got a mosasaur tooth. What? On the ammonite, you've got a giant centre of an ammonite that you found yourself, a shard of megalodon tooth, and you've got a trilobite, a 450 million year trilobite. Wow. Emma saying that my lesson was epic. Thanks, Emma. You're epic. Thank you. This is one of Edward's favourite topics. Hey, Edward, thank you. Evelyn likes the experiment, but she says it stinks when blowing the bubbles. Oh no. Oh, were you blowing in turmeric? Oh yeah, sorry. I couldn't get any colour change when I blew in to turmeric or the berry juices, unless I just wasn't trying hard enough, but I did try very hard. Whoa, Edmund, what have you done here? You've made some potions. You watched an adult do it with the bleach, but you added the others yourself. Oh, splendid, thank you. Oh, here's Henry. This is the correct lesson for me to nerd out. Oh, good. What I really love about mosasaurs is that they have 2 sets of teeth and that they may be the largest predators of the Cretaceous. There's so many reasons to love mosasaurs. And the genus of ichthyosaur, Ichthyosaur titan, may have been bigger than a blue whale. No. It's always bugged me that the blue whale is the largest animal ever to have existed on Earth. Like, it seems so weird that that would be true when you have, yeah, like prehistoric sea creatures that just they feel like they should be bigger. Edmund, one of your favourite topics as well. Biggest mosasaur group, yes, is called the Mosasaurus. Yes, and trilobites existed at least 570 million years ago. 570 before the Cambrian explosion. All right. I don't know. I mean, I've just learned not to argue with Edmund about everything, so you guys will have to look that up. Fortunately, we had an ammonite handy. That is a very Theatre of Science comment. I'm opening these images so that I can have a look in a bit, but I want to say hello to everyone first. You love the colour changing. Oh, I make herbal teas. Yeah, apparently hibiscus tea is very good for seeing a colour change as well, isn't it? I don't know why I did that for colour change. And blue pea changes colour when mixed with... Blue pea? What are you talking about? Blue pea changes colour when mixed with lemon or lime juice. Did not know that. Oh, Robin's here with Hissy, the flammable snake. We were in Robin Hood's Bay last week. Finding fossil evidence of a lot of prehistoric sea creatures. Robin. And Joe. Robin's dad is here. Huh. Hello. Good to not see you. That's creepy, but you know what I mean. All right, scrolling up. There's Abba and Arthur. Wait, I've got out of sync. There's Erin. Toby, the HH kids. Okay, HH kids, hello. Oh, hello. Oh, I feel really good that I feel like I've seen one of you now, and I've seen a bit of your house, and I've seen you. Yeah, hello. I hope all your work's going well. That's nice, ready to go. Hello, Toby. Erin and Mum, I think, or maybe Dad. Daughter Erin and I have enjoyed watching this morning, so interested and look forward to watching more. That's like a CBeebies comment. Makes me feel like Maddie Moat. That's the sort of thing that she would read out. My daughter Erin and I have enjoyed watching this morning. So interesting and look forward to watching more. Thanks, guys. Wow, that was my Maddie Moat impression, but it actually felt really natural. Maybe I should... No, I shouldn't. Nah, we've got a Maddie Moat. I'll just do me. That was fun, though. Like, smiling and talking is fun to do. Hello, Imogen and Ophelia. I can't stop thinking about Maddie Moat because I speak. She would even do this and kind of laugh halfway through a sentence. God, I love Maddie Moat so much. Lily and Jacob are here. Hi, Lily and Jacob. I've got to stop. You love this one. Oh, thanks, Liam. Hello, Abba. She's very excited this morning as Grandad is hanging her new Ariel silks in her bedroom. Oh, that is such a cool mental image. That's amazing. Hello, Dexter and Daisy. We love dinosaurs. So very excited for this lesson. Thank you. I never pointed out that none of these are dinosaurs. Are you all okay with that? Not a single one of them is a dinosaur. I even held up a Jurassic World image, which was probably like really bad science, wasn't it? Maybe now everyone thinks that a mosasaur was a dinosaur, but it wasn't. More like a snake. Anyway, there we go. Put that back. I love your content. Watch every single one of your lessons. Whoa, Tamaya, that is so nice. That's really nice. You probably know me better than my own family. Oh, hello, Fatima and your crew. Hello, that's nice to see you. Hello, Ivy and Jasper. We haven't been live. We haven't been here live. That makes more sense. For 2 weeks and didn't make today, but we're catching up. Oh, brilliant. Didn't make the start today. I didn't miss anything. I was faffing around for ages. My brain is not built for this amount of stuff in one lesson. Hello, Jessica. There's Tamayo again. Hiya. Hello, Imogen in Abu Dhabi. Making me feel like a total cool dude. Yeah, people watch me from all over the world. Missed your live lesson last week for a visit to Harry Potter exhibition. Interesting. I'm watching on catch up. Wasn't the same. Aw, thanks. Whoa, you've got such a good colour change. Oh, do you know what? Why didn't I think about the fact that using a smaller amount is probably a really good idea? Of course. Nice one. Hello, Tamaya. Oh, Deacon and Aria are here. Very curious about the red cabbage and excited about the mosasaur. Yeah, loads of people, loads of very cool chemists kept saying to me, like, oh, just use this if you're looking for an indicator. And I was like, no, because red cabbage is the only thing I could find where if you blow into it, it changes colour. I'm going to start blowing because it's fun to do. Yours, wow, Leanne, yours went purple. Hello, Willow and Darcy. Hello. Oh, it's Tor. And Snowy and Frosty the bunnies. Hello, bunnies. Bunnies, you do a thing that capybaras also do, so you might want to come to the capybara lesson. Hello, Alice. Hello. Yeah, Bella is giving Leanne's purple a lot of love. That is a really cool colour. I don't know how you got that. Oh, hi. How do we access the classes on Facebook? Oh, and then Sam, who has been really lovely to me this week, is telling you how to. Thank you. That's so nice. They're live from this page. Oh, you're joining from the capybara. Oh, Sam, you've just given out all the information. Thank you. Oh, hello, hello, Lana and Finlay. This has been such a good lesson. Thank you so much. See you later for capybaras. So many exclamation marks. Yeah, capybara. I just got another new coffee supporter. Thank you so much. Capybaras is on in 21 minutes, and the Lego Story Show needs rearranging. The Martin children are here, and they really enjoyed this lesson, especially the Megalodon and the colourful pH scale. You lot are getting some really good colour changes. I'm just opening all these images. Hello, Ruby and Oscar, who can't make it today because they're going to Disneyland for Oscar's birthday. Alright, yeah, it's a pretty good excuse. Ruby and Oscar, who aren't here. Hi, Ruby and Oscar. I hope you're having a good time. Not being here. They did ask me to tell you two things. One, they wish they could do Theatre of Science and Disneyland on the same day, and they're sad they're missing the live lessons today. Ruby and Oscar, I hope you're okay. Only having Disneyland today. You need to watch this bit first, Ruby and Oscar, so that you know that I said hello to you. It doesn't work, does it? Anyway, hello. Thank you for watching our catch-up. I know it's not the same. For me, it's not the same because you don't get that like, oh, is something going to go horribly wrong feeling. But it's okay. You know that I wouldn't edit it, even if it did go horribly wrong. All right, Jancy, which is how you say Jay, Daisy and Daniel if you're very tired or if you want to turn their names into a really cool band name. Hello, Magnus. Oh, wait, number 2. Ruby and Oscar say they're glad they watched your theme parks. I was just thinking I hoped you watched themes parks. Yes, because they're going to put your ideas about gift shops and food concessions a place to the test. Theatre of Science, making everything more fun since 2020. You thought you were just going to Disneyland. No, you're going to Disneyland to put my ideas about where gift shops and food concessions are to the test. That's so cool. I really love that. Oh, Hannah and Freya from Luton, whose accent I have not looked up. I'm so sorry. Hannah says she has never watched Jurassic Park. Oh, I'm so jealous. Oh, I wish I'd never watched Jurassic Park so I could watch it for the first time all over again. Hi, Laura. Hi, Science Alliance, says Lauren. My favourite is a Mosasaurus too. Wouldn't want to come across one, though. No, that only happened. That isn't a once-in-a-lifetime experience. Hello, Isabel and Thomas in Tenerife. We love your enthusiasm for the Jurassic Park films. We love them too. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. I could do a PhD on Jurassic Park. Hello, Bella. I'm late as I had a physio appointment. Oh, I hope you're okay. You can't have been as late as me. Hello, Oliver and Ava. Hello, you two. It's Sebastian and Humphrey. When an isopod rolls up, it's called conglobating. Sounds like a really rude thing to do. Imagine coming across an isopod conglobating. Is it the same for trilobites? I don't know, but we'll do the trilobites lesson next week, and I'm going to write the word conglobating. Conglobating on the board. What does it mean? Do trilobites conglobate? I have to know. But I'm into isopods now. By the way, I'm into isopods now, Sebastian. That is a smart move, yeah. Isopods are clearly brilliant. I didn't even know that trilobites were isopods. Now I'm more into them than I was before. Hello, Dexy. You put a little sideways picture of me in. Hello, Kai. Oh, hello, Whoa, no, Daniel. What? I thought Disneyland was exciting. Daniel has just topped that by having their 11th birthday today. Today. Happy birthday. How often does it happen that you get two numbers in the same in your age? Not that often. Oh, look, that's nice. Bella is saying happy birthday to you. Yeah, but everyone's saying happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. 11 today. Wow. Amazing. Like, you're here. That's really cool. Thanks. I feel so responsible. Like, I should have made it more fun. There should have been candles. I don't know. Well, happy birthday. And yes, I echo the Science Alliance members there saying happy birthday to you. Okay, I've just done a refresh. And then I am seeing, I don't want to turn into like one of those like, I don't know, I feel like there's adverts on telly that, like, there's live channels, aren't there, shopping channels where people just sort of go, oh, Margaret just signed up to buy the vacuum, yes Margaret, now there's only 5 left, quick, oh now Ted's bought a vacuum. I don't want to keep going like, thank you so much for signing up on coffee, that's really lovely, but also it feels weird, like if you are watching and you just signed up. Thank you so much. It's such a gorgeous fuzzy feeling. Harrison says hello. He really likes the idea of prehistoric sea creatures and the colour changing activity. He's still experimenting with it all. Yeah, get out there and experiment. I mean, how good? Just red cabbage for the win. And if you wash the red cabbage before you used it, then you can eat the red cabbage later as well. We've just signed up. Oh, hello, Esther and James. I can say hello to you actually with your names because it was you, one of the people that just signed up. Thank you so much. We've just signed up to pay monthly. Esther and James, South Wales. All right, so I need to make a note of that because I need to send you 2 pairs of rainbow glasses. I tell you what, I'll screenshot it. Yeah, then I can just send that to my husband because he does some of the packing now and just be like, James, see to these people. Yeah, I'm so business. Thank you so much, you two. That's really cool. That's so lovely of you. Hello, Roxana. Has enjoyed watching and doing the experiments. Looking forward to next week. Oh yeah, next week. Next week is fish versus sharks, brackets, which are fish, close brackets. And we've got a good activity for that, which involves a biro lid that has a hole in the top or that doesn't have a hole in the top. I think either's fine. That doesn't, I'll advertise it, but I need to advertise it quite quickly. I'm not a big dino fan, but this was quite interesting. Yeah, Dexy, fair. It's a little known fact about me. I'm actually not that into dinosaurs. Like, I'm interested in them, but people always assume that because I love Jurassic Park, that I also feel that way about dinosaurs, and that is actually not the case. We need to do a load of lessons about dinosaurs so that I do some research so that I get interested in them. Hi Laura, we are going to try the red cabbage colour change and we go to use vinegar and lemon juice. Oh, combined. Nice. Yeah, I didn't use lemon juice. Hello Alice, good to see you. And there's Daniel with people saying hello Daniel. Oh, Amelia's here. She was surprised by the cabbage indicator even though we did it a couple of years ago. Oh yeah, that's good. You're doing that thing that I do with my kids where they're like, wow, and I'm like, we did this. Like I set it all up. It took me ages. They're like, no, we've got no recollection of that at all. Like, oh, children's brains. Anyway, I'm really glad that I get to kind of show you this for the first time. That's really cool for me. When she did it, she started mixing them all. Oh, and started trying to neutralise them. That is genius. That's what I'm going to do. What will happen if I mix the soapy one with the vinegary one? Oh, I was hoping it was going to go green. All right, I'm going to pour that into there and then use a bit of this really strong base that was the bicarbonate of soda. Okay, I'm just pleasing myself now. I really, really need to go, don't I? I need to go. I need to go. Yeah, I'm going. But it has changed colour. Oh, thanks, really. That's a really cool idea. It has. It's gone back to being red cabbage juice. Oh, so cool. What a great idea. This is why I need more comments. Okay, right. How'd better go? Let's have a look at some of these photos, though, eh? Oh, look. This is Henry's fossils. That trilobite's gorgeous, Henry. Look at that. You can really see the all the 3 lines. That is stunning. And that's the megalodon tooth. Oh no, did you say mosasaur? Yeah, that's a mosasaur tooth, isn't it? Blimmin' heck, I've never actually seen one of those. Whoa, ho, ho, look at that. So this is Edmund's. Oh, thank you, Edmund, for even putting the stuff in the background. Oh, you're so kind. So you've done lemon juice, which went a gorgeous pink, but it went a different pink to the vinegar. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, and of course milk as well. Yeah. Oh, nice. Excellent. Thank you for that. I think that'll really help people. There's another picture from Henry, is it? Went to a museum, saw some... Oh, look at that. I feel like I'm going to be much more appreciative of that kind of thing now that I've done a bit of research into it myself. I just happen to have your ammonite handy. Look at that. What is going on there? That's amazing. What is that? I'm zooming in to see if I can see any suture lines. That is, I don't know what... It looks like it's eaten something that really didn't agree with it. Anyway, moving on. Oh yeah, look, that was you doing the just a small amount. I think that was a good idea. I think you probably get a better colour change, don't you? And that's the incredibly purple one. It's sort of, I don't know, it's got unicorn vibes because it's got like the sort of horn coming out of it and it actually looks quite sparkly. And oh, there we go. Oh yeah, nice. Okay, I'm so pleased that you are actually seeing the colour change. The first time I did this lesson on Facebook, it didn't really work, to be honest. And, oh, that's me sideways. Thanks, Dexy. Oh, that's actually, I don't hate that screenshot of me. Thanks. Okay, Right, I am going to go. Oh my days, I've got 12 minutes to set up, to put my capybara costume on and reset the Lego Story Show for capybara. So yeah, just 1,000 thank yous. It probably gets a bit boring, me just shouting thank you at you over and over again. But thank you for liking and subscribing and for the comments and for your amazing pictures and for your actual money that I can use to live my life so that I can do this job for a living. It's just the best thing ever. It's the best thing ever. I can't believe that this is my full-time job. I don't do anything else. This is the work that I do, is for you. So you are my students. We're just this massive classroom which stretches as far as Abu Dhabi and Disneyland, apparently. So yeah, really lovely feelings. I hope you have them too. I will see a lot of you in 11 minutes. Go and have a screen break. Go and stare at the clouds or something, and I'll see you very soon. Thank you for coming. Bye!